Welcome, everyone. We are going to start the concert. Thank you for joining. My name is Yui, and
my name is Chihiro. I'm a percussionist.
I'm a composer. So we have this concert series, and this is our fourth concert. This is an online concert, and featuring our friends' music and also friends' performances. If you can locate the chat box, Chihiro is going to send you the program so that in case you want to see the links after we close this Zoom, that's the PDF we have. And that's going to be on our website too. So you don't have to download it because we're going to navigate, but it's something that you can see later on. Okay, so why don't we start with the first organ piece. Chihiro is going to send you the link in the chat box. This is a big work, like 15-minute orchestral work called The Planets by Holst. Fourth movement, Jupiter. Today's theme is star, but I was like, maybe big star like planet. This is actually the solo organ version of it. And organ is such a unique instrument because if you go anywhere in the world, none of the organs are the same because it depends on how big the venue is, sometimes church, sometimes concert hall, and also each instrument can have it's called manuals, like the keyboard, sometimes stack like 2 of them or 3 of them, and the one that you're going to see in the video is actually 5 of them. So it really depends on which one in which venue. The organ sound is so different. The organ existed before piano. So right now we have more pianos at home because we cannot really have the part organ at home. Right now we have all the electricity running the organ so that they can send the wind into the pipes so that they don't have to do much except for the organ is play on the keyboard. But before, like when the electricity was not invented, some people had to be in the back of the organ and step on the like puffy like airbags so that they can send the air into the pipes. So it's like, musician and athletes together,
Yes, I think so, Michelle. I think organ bellows. That sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
That was the word, but I.
Right.
That's right, bellows.
Yeah. See, our very peculiar organ English terms are limited, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, so are mine, but I don't have a language excuse.
But yeah, I think it's funny to imagine like a serious organist like playing like a Bach cantata or something, and then someone is like pushing on this like thing to pump airs in the back, and you have no idea.
The original form of the gym.
Right, exactly. I think it's very funny. But yes, I hope everybody can locate the chat box. The reason we do it this way is that so we don't sacrifice the quality of music by screen sharing, because we found that screen sharing is not very effective. There's a lot of delays and it gets interrupted. And our goal is to share good quality music. So that's why we do it this way. So I know it's a little bit of work on your end, but I hope this is better because it brings you better quality. So if you could please click on the link and then stop for a second so we can start together, because it's actually kind of fun to start together.
Right.
Feel like we're in the same room.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I think most of us finished listening. So if you joined us a little later, you have the link. So maybe you can watch it later on as well to finish the video. Today we have special guest, Michelle, who is a harpist. Chihiro and I went to Juilliard School and Michelle was there at the same time. So we were in the same room when we were at Juilliard. Michelle, please introduce yourself and also your pre-recorded video.
Thank you so much for having me. Yui and Chihiro, we were such wonderful friends and colleagues at Juilliard, so I have really great memories of being there with you. I'm Michelle Gott. I'm a harpist, and I teach at the University of Arizona in Tucson. And the piece that I'm pre-recorded, I actually did it over the summer for a project. It's called Lyra Scenes by Takashi Yoshimatsu. I found this piece last summer by chance. My fiance and I were in Japan just for fun to visit and experience some new things for me. He actually used to live there, but for me it was my first trip. And I asked the people at Aoyama Harp Center in Tokyo, I asked them if they had any contemporary Japanese music. And they actually looked at me really strangely and they were like, "You want what?" And I was like, "Yeah, do you have anything new that is written by Japanese composers?" And they gave me this publication, Lyra Scenes, and I went back to the US and started playing it and learning it, and I also was listening to the wonderful recording by Naoko Yoshino. I fell in love with it and decided to really make it part of my repertoire. Last season, I also worked with a dancer. She's on faculty at the School of Dance at the University of Arizona, and she choreographed a piece to my music, and we put it together. So the idea was for it to be really integrated. This was pre-COVID, so like the harp was very much part of the physical presence in the dance. So her movement was centered, you know, around the harp, and we were sort of interacting as much as is possible when I'm playing. But the idea was for it to be a very integrated experience. We did perform it in Tucson, and then we also went to Iceland in March as part of a tour I was leading with my student group called Harp Fusion. It's a harp ensemble. We had created two different programs, one of which was an acoustic concert and the other of which was a multimedia experience with harp ensemble and film and dance. And this piece, based on the Yoshimatsu music, was part of that production. There, of course, March was an interesting month, and basically 2 days after we landed in Reykjavik, the travel ban was announced, and so we did not get to perform this there. But over the summer, you know, we pivoted a bit. I did my recording that you'll see today, and we also turned that into a digital expression of what we had wished to do in Iceland. Actually, it went quite a different direction because it suddenly became more about isolation and what the city of Tucson was like, especially in the early days of the pandemic situation. So just empty streets. So you're not seeing that video today, but all of this came about because of this wonderful work of music, which came about because I went to Japan and went to the Aoyama Harp Center. So I have like a really deep connection with it. I love the music. It reminds me of my time there and of the joy and really the experience of traveling that we cannot partake in as freely right now, but I have appreciated all of these experiences very much. So that was maybe a bit of a longer answer than you were looking for, but that's how deep this work of music goes for me.
Thank you. So I know that, you know, it's very nice that you have your instrument, you know, right there.
Oh, yeah. Well, it just happens to be the best looking spot in the house to do video. So without, you know, I was like, maybe I should just do it in the kitchen and be really, really real about what's going on here.
So if you can maybe demonstrate a couple of different harp techniques, because it's very rare that we can see harpist's hands so up close.
Okay, so hello. Yeah, so, well, you'll recognize this angle from the video. I did actually, when I filmed, I've zoomed in quite a bit more so that you can't really see the window and whatnot. But this is my harp. I don't know. So you really can't see all of the bass, but this is my harp.
Michelle, could you explain how the pedal works for a second? I know we can't see it, but I think that's one of the unique things about harp is that you have to be pedaling like crazy while you're so elegant up here.
Okay, so basically all of our accidentals, our sharps and flats, we do with our feet. So the harp basically is tuned diatonically. It's actually tuned in C flat because it's the most open position on the strings. And then for every note of the musical alphabet, so A through G, there's one pedal that controls the set of strings. So the easiest thing to see is probably like one of the colored strings. So all of my C strings, those are the red strings. And so right now I'm actually in C flat. There's one pedal down below that controls all the C strings. So when I flip it like one notch, you see how the discs turn? Do you see that? So this is C flat. And then if I change the pedal one time, that's C natural. I'll do it one more time. So C sharp, C natural, C flat. So each string can be 3 different pitches depending on what you do with the pedals. So it's a bit of a Sudoku puzzle because whatever you need to play pitch-wise, you have to think about that first really with the feet and then coordinate those changes. So it's really quite funny sometimes because you could be playing the correct strings but the wrong pitches if your feet do something that you don't want them to do. So it's always a game. And that's just sort of fun when you work with composers because sometimes they'll want sounds that you know are possible, but perhaps the way they've notated it doesn't work the best. So I love those kinds of challenges because I will think, okay, how can I do this? How could I like rework the notes, maybe spell them differently? So like if they wrote a C sharp, but really it would work better as D flat, you know. These are like little puzzles to work through to figure out how to achieve the sound that a composer wants, maybe just by changing a couple of pedals.
Yeah, because I write music. I'm a composer, and
I have played some of your music. It's wonderful.
I know. So when we write for harps, it's very hard to describe in words. But we say that flat keys are more warmer sounds, and
they're really more resonant.
Right.
Yeah, and it's because of the openness of the strings. When you're in full sharps. And some composers who wrote in full sharps include Wagner and Strauss, but when you're in full sharps, the discs are fully turned. So I'm not sure that it's not warm, but it's definitely a tight position on the strings.
Right. Yeah, so it sounds different, like the same strength, but depending on how stretched the strings are, the sound coming out of the strings are like sounding a little different. And then some people don't care about it, or maybe they don't notice about it, but some composers are really like into that particular sound, and they prefer this sound rather than this sound, and very picky. So
I think it's like how sensitive you are to color in music, whether it's a choice of key that speaks to you more or makes you feel different things, or whether it's actually the resonance that's really affecting how you feel about that key, especially if it's on the harp versus another instrument.
Maybe listen so that people think.
Yes. Okay, so like the angel thing.
This is
the harp.
That'll be $500.
So this is, sometimes what you hear in Disney movies or whenever something angelic.
Right. Yeah, well, the magic of it is the doubled notes. And I won't get too technical, but like, let's say we're in C major. So to make this sound like that magical angel movie music thing, you double notes by using enharmonics, so notes that sound the same but are spelled differently. So I would use like a E sharp and F natural and a B sharp and C. And it's because it has to do with both like what happens to the scale, but also those doubled notes that give you that resonance and magical harp sound.
Yeah, well, that's what I like about the harp. Like,
I know I kind of roll my eyes, but it's our bread and butter. Sometimes.
No, I mean, like you can actually use the different strings to do the same notes, like next to each other, because it never happens in the keyboard music.
Right, and it's an effect that you notice it if it's electronic, and it can't really be done on any other instrument in the same way. So I also do think there's an art to glissandos. You know, if I play any so Broadway style music, or especially like that old Broadway sound, like there's a there, and Vegas too. I'm actually originally from Las Vegas, and so like the sound of the old showrooms of the Sinatra and the Tony Bennett music, like there is an art to the harp glissandi in those arrangements, and it fills it out with this sort of luscious sound. There's really nothing like it. So I do appreciate that my instrument can do that.
Let's talk about the piece that you're going to show. This is like 2 movements, or like it's 5 sections.
Yes, there are 5 movements, but I only recorded the first 2, so it's a prelude and dance.
Okay.
And the star theme is that it is about the constellation Lyra, so that's how it ties into this particular concert.
And Lyra is the oldest human instrument.
The lyre. I just purchased this star book. I just ordered this. It's called Seeing Stars, A Complete Guide to the 88 Constellations by Sarah Gillingham. She lives in Vancouver, but it's this whole book about, can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a whole book about how to find the constellations in the sky, and a little bit, about their background, mythology, and so some science and some myth. So, yeah.
Can everyone locate the chat and click on the YouTube link? And if you could please pause it so we can start together.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. I want to write something for you now.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, no.
Can you write it on a star theme?
Yeah, I would love to. The next piece is actually my piece, and I would like to share this one. So this song is one of the 3 songs that I wrote in 2006 in Berlin when I was there. And this is the flower of wisteria. I don't know if you know what wisteria is, but this is the flower that the poem is about. It's only like 2-minute piece, and all 3 songs, the text is from tanka poems in Japanese. So tanka is like a longer version of haiku. Haiku is only like 5, 7, 5 syllables. Tanka poems are 5, 7, 5, 7, 7, 5 lines. So this one that I wrote about, written by Akiko Yosano, she's one of the most famous tanka poem writer, female writer. The translation is in the video, so I'm not gonna go into it. But let me change the screen to this one, which is like a manuscript that I wrote back in 2006. It's only 1 page, and the way it works is that if you look at the black notes and all the other black ones, I imagine as like these are the stars in the sky. And then these like white notes, which is usually the longer sound, these are actually going to transform into, so this is a computer version. If you connect them, or if you spot them like this, so it's basically connected and like that. So you're gonna see the video, it's gonna come up as a constellation of Scorpio because I'm a Scorpio. Scorpius. And then, yep, that's the constellation. Nice. You have all the 88 one of them.
Well, it's funny. This was not planned.
Yeah, I know.
But I just happened to get the book this week.
I didn't know you had the book.
It's a great book.
Yeah, it's a great book. So I hope you enjoy the video. And I did my best to translate, and it's in the video as well.
Yay. Very fun.
Yes.
But no one would know if you didn't explain that thing.
Right. Yeah. So, it's sometimes fun to know what the composer did because, you'll never find out these things.
And this is not a new thing, right? Because Bach, he did his initials, he hid his names in his songs or pieces all the time. Many composers just did it for fun or maybe to challenge themselves. And so, yeah, I was telling Yui that maybe you can start a business to put their people's faces on their music. But it might get a little complicated. Maybe just a smiley face or something simple.
The last song we are going to listen to is Estrellita. In the video, they put the English title as Star of Love. I'm sure you've heard this piece before. It's a very famous tune. I'm sure there are so many versions of this violin and piano, but this one is actually cello and piano. Hope you enjoyed the stars. Everyone together? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you very much, Michelle, for joining us, and thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for this opportunity. It was really nice to come together as a community like this. So really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can we do
Yeah, if you don't mind showing your faces on the video, we just want to take a quick picture.
And by the way, Quarantini concert series come from Quarantini, which is a made-up word that was popularized during quarantine period where people started making cocktails at home. But now we use it as just a drink of your choice, and that's why we named the concert series this way.
Yeah, don't worry if you don't want to show your faces.
Yeah, no worries. If you're comfortable, we like to just take pictures.
3, 2, 1, smile. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I put the concert programs PDF one more time in the chat. So if you like to keep all the links and our information, please download it because once we close this chat, it will disappear. But we are on Facebook and Instagram and all the things. Again, our organization is called MuSE, but that's a short for Multicultural Sonic Evolution. So hope to see you next time. Please keep an eye out for our information, and we'll love to see you next time.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.